get away and unable to. Whereas my animals, they see as able to leave any time they want and returning to me by choice.
That's very
In
interesting.
reality, all those animals are trained the same. I saw a video on YouTube recently where a pilot whale at a Japanese park came right out of the tank trying to get closer to the trainer and fell right into the front row of the amphitheater. And it was like, oh no! I mean, only fell 4 feet, not enough to hurt the pilot whale. But, you know, the pilot whale then just, like, rolled over and held still. And immediately, within 20 seconds, all the trainers were there, rolled him on the matting, got him off the hot concrete, started hosing him down. They asked the audience to please stay seated and stay calm. Everybody stayed calm and quiet. They're probably all interested to see what's going to happen. Within it was about 6 or 7 minutes, they had the truck out there. They picked him up in the sling, put him on the truck, took him to the back to observation tank. The pilot whale held still the whole time, worked with them. And, you know, I watched this video over and over and over, and I thought, you know, that is just a simple mistake that the whale made. He probably won't make it again. He probably thought there was a stage up there, and he probably thought he could come up onto the stage and beach himself and get closer to the trainer. Understandable mistake. I'm sure he won't make it again. But in the United States, a lot of people would say, well, he's trying to get away. He doesn't want to be in the tank. You know, how terrible. Look, he doesn't want to be there. And it's like, no. That's a misinterpret of the behavior. Because if he didn't want to be there, he would have flipped around and resisted them and fought with all of his might. And none of that was being communicated by him. Granted, there are animals who show their disapproval of what's going on, like the elephant in Hawaii that ran out of the circus tent and dismantled the Buick. I mean, that animal was angry by something, maybe not one incident, but maybe a number of incidences. But then again, I have friends who have elephants who you just talk to them. You just say, you know, hey, come on, follow me over here. And she'll follow you. And you say, lift one foot for me, darling. And she'll lift a foot, and you just pet her and give her a loaf of bread, and she's happy. So we really can't take such broad strokes and really brush animals in captivity. It's really a case-by-case basis, the same as children with parents or married couples or anything else. You know, it's just a really tough thing to put under one big label.
It's probably a little bit of in between, right?
Case by case, yeah. It's always a study of one because, you know, we don't even have enough elephants in the United States to even have everybody in the same comparison. I mean, we can't say that like a Ringling Brothers elephant who is, you know, pampered and treated like the star of the show. That elephant has a completely different history than an elephant at the Los Angeles Zoo who has a lot of hands-off training. Maybe some training, just lift the foot so we can file your nails or take some blood or see if there's, you know, if the bottom of your foot is clean. That's different training than you know, the Ringling Brothers elephants. And so we can't really compare them and say which one has had a good life and which one has had a bad life. Because both those elephants are very happy with the life they know. If they were unhappy, there would be people getting hurt and doors to cages getting destroyed, and we would hear about them on the news all the time. Instead, we only hear about, one out of every 1,000 elephants. And so, you know, I think we hear a lot more from people complaining than we hear from animals complaining.
I think that there is a portion of the animal kingdom treatment that is valid, having to do with the way whales are treated in the oceans and dolphins are treated in the oceans and other types of animals in the world. But like I said, in context, I think it's fascinating what you're doing. And I'm looking also at your site right now at birdman.tv. In the intro about you, it said that you lived with your grandparents who saw your love for birds and encouraged you to grow your own business and also helped you with these birds and build cages and props. I think that's neat. Very, very neat that your grandparents took part of this.
They had a bird experience before I got there, but and they were just supportive of me. I know they loved me. If whatever I chose to do, I'm sure they would have backed me on. But when you're 15 years old and you start taking in rescued macaws and cockatoos, if you don't have the support of the family you're living with, it's not going to go very far.
What do you feed these birds?
Depends on the species.
Condors.
Condors eat meat. Mine do not eat, dead or roadkill-ish type rotten meat like real condors might. But they are scavengers and they do eat strictly meat. And then falcons eat meat, but falcons eat mostly other birds.
Seriously?
Yeah, they live off of eating other birds. Owls eat mostly mice. Crows and ravens eat mostly mice and some bird of prey diet, which is kind of a little ground buffet, a little mixture of everything. Cranes eat a pellet that's made from grains and grasses and seeds, and much like rabbit pellets. The tree hornbills eat fruit, and the ground hornbills eat mice and chicks. And storks tend to eat a lot of mice and a lot of chicks.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, the parrots eat seeds, nuts, and fruits. And the lories eat nectar. Gosh, what else we got out there? I'm trying to go around the property and include everybody here.
Don't leave anybody out.
Yeah, the toucans eat fruit and pellets.
How about the bald eagle? What do they eat?
Our only bald eagle doesn't eat fish, but they should be eating fish. Yeah, he looks at fish and he gives you a dirty look, tells you to go back and get something better. It's very strange.
What kind of fish do you feed your birds? Is there a particular kind of fish?
Well, like for the pelicans, we feed herring and sardines they like, and sometimes some smelt if we can get them big enough. They really don't like the little ones. And I can't think of it. I've been away from them for a month and a half, and if you don't stare at this stuff every day, your brain purges the information in favor of what you are handling every day.
How do they like the weather in Vegas? Is it too hot for some of them?
No, Las Vegas is good because the heat index is always about 10 degrees cooler. It's not as hot as it looks on the thermometer, and you just work around it. In Las Vegas, you don't during this time of second half of July, right through the first week of August. You just don't do strenuous work outside between 10 and 4. Same as like the winter in Minnesota and Minneapolis, you only go out and work between 10 to 4 because it's too cold in the other hours. So, everybody just works around the weather. We all can't live in La Jolla.
What is your greatest challenge right now with your profession?
Absolutely, without a doubt, the answer to that is government. Overregulation, misinforming the public about people like me, about animal ownership in general. There just seems to be this movement of government takeover of everything. It's just crazy.
Auto industry, banking, it goes on.
And we've seen other countries go through this. I mean, for heaven's sakes, even Cuba has just removed a lot of its restrictions against private small business. And it's like, wait a minute, if they've come full circle, why do you guys want to try it here? They're coming out of the bad ideas, So anyways, the part of that hits animal ownership is just more licenses, more permits, more of an attitude that people cannot take care of animals, therefore the government, needs to watch them and regulate them and tell them every single thing to do. Now, this implies that some person in some regulatory agency knows more about taking care of that animal than you do. And so it becomes tough. I have people telling me what I can do with permits and where I can go and how I can take care of condors, and they've never even seen a condor before they showed up to my house. So it's difficult. It's really difficult. One of my next shows is going to Alaska, and I'm talking with Department of Fish and Game in Alaska, and they said that they can't have West Nile